start? Do you see a
I believe
record
so.
button? Perfect. Okay. Well, now you've got my insecurity on camera. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa, and this is Chris. I don't know if you want to say hi.
Hey, everybody.
And this is our Sacrament meeting planner application that we made for our CIT 365 class. We're supposed to demo it and kind of just show you a little bit about it. When creating the page, we were asked to kind of pick a style, and I decided, kind of looking at it as a sacrament planner, maybe I'd kind of make it look a little bit more like LDS.org. So I used kind of the blue banner at the top, and instead of using the white for like LDS.org, we kind of kept a nice beige color, which in some ways is almost like a scroll or a papyrus sheet, you know, kind of symbolizing Christ in some ways. And it kind of gives it a nice look and feel to where later when you get to the input boxes, which are white, it gives a nice contrast. I thought for the splash page here, it would be good to have a splash page and kind of show a picture of Christ with a little quote, kind of like what you'd see on the beginning of a sacrament meeting program. So we've got the Sermon on the Mount, and it's got kind of a Sermon on the Mount scripture to kind of just show what we're hoping to accomplish here with our sacrament meeting planner. The framework we chose was just an MVC core with an entity framework, as we've been doing throughout the semester. I'm going to switch it over to Chris now.
Thanks, Melissa. So I want to demonstrate a little bit about how the application works. So when you land on the home page, you basically have the splash page that Melissa talked about. We also have an about page that's just really simple, kind of gives the very basics about what we did to build the app and contact information for Melissa and myself. And you'll notice for the planner part, which is the meat of the application, that you actually cannot access that without being logged in. And so we built into the application the ability to register a new user. So I can click this link down here to register as a new user, which gives me this page, basically asks for an email address, a password, and confirmation of that password. I'm not actually going to go through that process, but I am going to log in with my login, which I've already created. Okay, I'm going to log in here, and you'll notice when I do that it now changes over here. Instead of the register link, now it says hello whitefishwardclerk@gmail.com, and then I also have the log out button instead of the or link instead of the log in. And so now I'm on the Sacrament meeting planner page, and Melissa will talk through that in just a minute. I did, before we dive into that though, I just wanted to talk about how we kind of divided this application into two parts. So there's two primary entities that we built for this app. There's the sacrament meeting, and then there are speaking assignments. And so we'll turn it back to Melissa, and she'll walk us through the sacrament meeting part.
Okay, just going to switch back over to me. All right. Oh, and I should probably have logged in already. Whoops. My bad. Should have been doing that while you were doing yours. At least I don't have as long of a password as you do. And that'll log in quickly. Perfect. And I can click on the planner. Sorry for that interruption, but now we're into our planner list. So the sacrament meeting planner, the way we set it up was there was so much information to be shown in just one long table, and we decided to just show kind of the main structures of it. So we've got the meeting date, we have a special note for when it's fast and testimony or the high counselors are speaking or it's general conference, you know, see, we don't want any speakers or anything. And then we've got who's conducting, and we're able to actually sort by that. So if we wanted to sort by Bishop Smith and then Johnson and then Miller kind of thing, that it does it differently. In this one, it's because it's Jack Johnson versus Brother Johnson. So it depends on how you put it in with how it sorts. We've actually made that more to where we have a drop-down list. So they should all be Jack Johnson or specific names rather than Bishop or Brother. So it should all be consistent now. You can also sort by the meeting date, which allows you to go either from earliest to latest or most recent back. But you can't sort by any of these other ones. Then we decided that the opening prayer and the speakers and the closing prayer would kind of be the next important things. If you click on the details for one of these, you can come in and see the meeting date, the special note, who's conducting, the opening hymn number, the opening prayer, the sacrament meeting hymn, and closing prayer. Right now, this one doesn't have any speakers on it. So if we go back to our list and click on one of the ones that does have speakers on it, then we can see how the speakers kind of fit into this. We have the sacramenting hymn, and then we have speaker 1, 2, a rest hymn, speaker 3, our closing hymn, and our closing prayer. And that kind of just shows you the details on this. You can edit and delete and whatever you need to do, the other basic CRUD functions. I'll show you real quickly how to create one, because when you create one, you don't actually create the speakers with it. Chris will show you how to do that in just a second. So let's go ahead and pick a meeting date. We'll do maybe the 29th because that's coming up. We won't have a special note on it. We'll maybe do Jack Johnson. Well, yeah, we'll do Jack Johnson. The opening hymn will be number 130, which is called Be Thou Humble. The opening prayer will be by Sister Rogers. The sacramenting hymn will be 169, which is, as now we take the sacrament, and I put a double E on here. The rest hymn, we'll go ahead and put a rest hymn in here so that you can see how the sort order works when Chris talks about the speakers. So hymn 199, he is risen. And then we'll have a closing hymn of 193, I stand all amazed. And then our closing prayer will be by Sister Moss. So then we can click create. And that should take us back to our planner app here with down here at the bottom, Sister Rogers and Sister Moss with our Jack Johnson. And we can click on the details and see that everything's in there that we just put in, but we don't have any speakers. So let me go back to the list and I will switch over to Chris, who will talk to you about the speakers. Unless, did I miss anything, Chris?
No, I think we got it. We got it.
Okay, let me switch over to you real quick and you take over.
Okay, so one thing that I want to point out is that when there aren't any speakers, we have this little hyperlink that just says add. If there are speakers assigned, it just simply tells you the number of speakers that are assigned, and that's also a hyperlink. So we can use that hyperlink then to get into the speaking assignment piece. So first I'm going to demonstrate adding a speaker to a meeting. And I know this is fast and testimony meeting, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and add one here. Now on the create page here, it tells us, it basically says, you know, when was this speaking assignment made? So it defaults to today. I could change that date if I wanted to. I'm going to leave it that way. It asks me for a speaking sequence for the speaker's name and the assigned topic. So I'm going to give it a speaking sequence of 10. Speaker's name is going to be just me, because that's easy. And the assigned topic is repentance. And I create it. And it says, okay, there you go. You've created it. I can go back to the sacrament planner. And now you'll see instead of saying add, it shows that there is one speaker there. I can also click on that and it takes me back to show me, yep, there's your speaking assignment. From here, I've got the normal CRUD functionality where I can edit that. So let's just change the speaking sequence to 20. It won't really matter because there's only one right now, but just to demonstrate that, you know, that works. The details basically just shows you that. And then I could delete this. And since it is a fast Sunday that I'm doing this on, and to demonstrate the ability to delete, I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And you can see now that it's gone. I can go then back to the Sacrament Planner, and now we have the add function here left. Okay. So one of the things that we also built in, let's say on the March 11th, we've got 3 speakers here, and let's say that, oh gosh, I accidentally put Sam Matthews on the 11th. I meant to put him on a different day. I can actually go in here and I can edit this. I can change the assignment date up here, and let's say I want to put him on the 1st or the 18th. Let's put him on the 18th here of February, and then click save. Oh, that was the date I was on. That was good. Let's pick a different date. Let's pick the 4th of March. So let's pick that. I save it, and you can see, okay, yeah, it moved him to the 4th, and now he's the only one on the 4th. Of course, I can edit that. I can move it back. I can put him wherever, whichever meeting I want to. Click save, and we're back to the way we were. So the ability to move a speaker from one Sunday to another Sunday we felt was an important feature. So we have basically those full CRUD capabilities. I do want to go back to the Sacrament Planner for just a second and point out we have a link up here to be able to search those speakers and topics. And the idea here was to say, well, let's see, when was the last time that Brother Jones spoke, or Sister Jones? And so it searches through the list and shows us, you know, anything that contains the word Jones in it, right? I could even search if I wanted to by sister, for example. And the reason why I want to demonstrate this is because it shows that the search works over the speaker's name as well as the assigned topic, right? So it gives the bishopric the ability then to search on a topic, when's the last time we talked about this topic, or on a speaker, when is the last time that speaker spoke. So we have that capability that we built in, and that basically is how the filtering works for the speaking assignments. And I think I covered everything there. Melissa, did I miss anything?
Well, I don't know if we want to talk about the sequence numbering such that it will show up after the rest hymn, depending on what number you give the sequence.
Perfect. Yep, I missed that. Thank you. So let's look on the 25th of March. We've got 3 speakers, right? And I gave them a speaking sequence of 10, 20, and 30. Now, one thing that's important is Melissa and I talked about how do we control the order so that the rest hymn shows up in the appropriate spot. And what we decided to do is just give that rest hymn an implicit sort value of 25, meaning that basically it will show up in the speaking sequence list at that point. So in other words, that rest hymn is going to show up in between Liz Clark and Brother K because of that. And if we wanted, for example, Liz Clark to be after the rest hymn, what we'd have to do is we'd have to go and move this speaking assignment, let's say, to 28, so that it's after 25. Okay. And if I go then back to the Sacrament Planner and we look at the details for that, you'll see Sister K is the first speaker, then the rest hymn, then Liz Clark, then Brother K. Now, if I quickly go back and edit that and change Liz's sequence number back to 20 the way it originally was, and save that. Now, when I go look at the details for that, you'll notice there's Sister K. Now Liz Clark is speaker number 2 before the rest hymn, then the rest hymn, and then Brother K. So that's how that works.
Okay, let's just leave it on your page for right now. I just want to give kind of a quick conclusion that this was a very interesting assignment because it made us have to really think outside the box. We had to think how we were going to put this sort order in order to get the rest hymn in the right spot. We had to think of how are we going to set this up? Do we need the speakers in another table and the sacrament meeting stuff in another table, and just kind of how we needed to plan this and make it work. And I think the way we ended up coming out with it, that it worked out actually really well. It makes it, you can add the speakers separately, and it keeps the data to where it's not a huge convoluted table. And by having the speakers in a separate table, we can have, 0 to n number of speakers. We could have 7 on one day if they really decided, okay, this entire family has to speak today. And it makes it very simple and easy to be able to add all 7, rather than in another way where putting them all on one table, we might have only had spots for 3 speakers. And I just think that it turned out really well. I don't know if you have anything you want to say in conclusion, Chris?
No, just that it's been great working with Melissa. Really appreciate having her as a partner. It's been fantastic.
Oh, goodness. You flatter me. But you honestly worked really hard on this application as well. And I know that without the teamwork that we had, that this application wouldn't have come to be. So thanks everyone for watching, and I hope this works out well for our demo application.